You're experienced in designing learning and development programmes for individuals and firms. Can you give me an example of a different approach?
Yes, certainly. Different firms need different things, so that goes without saying. So some of the larger firms, they benefit very much from having you regularly and choosing the topics of their choice. And over the years with firms like Blake Morgan, I've amended the approach to include a lot of case study work. So if we're having a 3-hour session, yes, it will be me lecturing, but it will also be them working on some case study scenarios. And we try and mix it up so as experienced practitioners on the same table as more junior practitioners, so they can bring experience to bear and then we can feed it back. So in that case, you've got a bit of lecturing, you've got a bit of discussion, and you've got a bit of me facilitating that discussion, and you've got feedback. All of that's a great way to bring together lots of different learning techniques. In another kind of place, I've got a small firm I've helped up in Yorkshire where they have asked me to go in because they had some very particular things they wanted to achieve. For example, they wanted to work together because they were a newly merged firm. They also wanted some of their precedents looked at because obviously they had different ones from different sides of the firm. And they also had a technical new topic they wanted to know about. So the day was their day. I went up and saw them. We did the technical bit. Hopefully in a quite informal way, so we're all sitting around the table, it wasn't me standing over them, and we were able to pull out practical questions. We then went on to some of the things on the agenda that they'd wanted to talk about. So some of these were to do with particular files, and through that method of talking and involving some of the people in the firm in the answers, we came up, I think, with a really win-win situation, which was merged practitioners don't always know some of the senior people in the other merged firm. So it gave them a chance to see their character, see how they dealt with queries and problems. It enabled them, through me facilitating the discussion, to see where they perhaps needed to do some changes and tweaks. And it enabled them to understand why one set of precedents was not quite right, and they needed to merge the precedents to achieve a better outcome, but also enhance them. So, if you like, the problem was there. They had a number of things they wanted to cover. We used training as the basis of it, but there were also other solutions. For somebody else, the answer is webinars. So they've got a very spread geographical range of offices. They can't all easily be in one place. So therefore, providing bespoke webinars for them was a solution. And yes, it's still training, it's still listening, but again, it doesn't all have to be done at the same time. So with webinars, you can, of course, listen when it's live and ask questions, but you can also listen to recordings. So if somebody's not there one day, they can come in another day and listen to it. And then you can have facilitated discussions, and these have been useful in some firms where I've been for more senior practitioners, where the day might be broken up between different types of practitioners so that they all get the best out of the time. So, for example, you might have with the senior practitioners a few scenarios to discuss, particularly where it's going to pull in some new law. So something they might be very familiar with, like dealing with business clients, but you're really wanting to pull out some factors which have maybe changed. And so they're used to the rules and they're used to what they know, but then suddenly they realise they're not so familiar with the new bit. So the discussion helps to do that. I've also worked with groups where it's not to do with the technical content, but it's to do with it being in the role of a leader, being in the role of a team manager. And you've got team managers together who are all in private law area, but they're doing different things, family law, conveyancing, as well as sort of traditional wills, probate, trust and tax type of things. But the core thing that's similar is that they're all managing a team. And sometimes in firms, particularly the large firms, the size of the team they're working with could vary so much. In the particular example I'm thinking of, there was one person who was responsible for 27 staff, and yet another person in the same level was only responsible for 2 people. I mean, these are totally ridiculous. You need to get some balance there and to have a kind of structure to it, so that maybe the team leader is having to have a bit like a sort of pyramid approach, like a military approach, where they've got captains and sergeants underneath, so that they're pulling that up together. Because you can't manage day by day 27 people, it's just not possible. But you can through other people. So it's about helping them with techniques like that, and that's really me asking them questions and them finding the answers for themselves. I don't have to tell them anything. They learn from discussing with one another what the problems are and help to resolve some of the problems. So from that you get a flavour that there's different techniques, and that's the benefit of going in-house, because you can explain it to them.